Marketing That Works is the podcast for business owners who want to move their brand forward so that they can bring in more sales and clients. I'm Danielle Harris, and I'm bringing you what I know from more than 12 years of experience in traditional and online marketing. I have created marketing strategies for businesses of all sizes, from multi-million-dollar corporations to early-stage online businesses. Remember, some marketers chase fads. I believe in mastering the fundamentals. Why is planning a launch so stressful? From figuring out when you'll have time to write these emails, to plan the videos, and design the feed post, it can seem like getting new people into your programs and offers is this overwhelming process that takes a lot out of you. And most people think they know why. They think that it just takes time and experience, which is true to a degree. But after working with clients over the years, helping them plan their launches, I've seen the three main reasons why most coaches are overwhelmed with planning their launches. And today, I want to take you through how I've helped my clients uncover what is stressing them out about their launches and how I've helped them come up with a plan that made them ready to get new people into their program. So let's get into it. Now, first things first, if you are planning a launch, time is the thing that is at the top of your mind. On top of already serving your clients, you're thinking about all the things you have to get done and exactly when you'll do them. On top of already serving clients, you're thinking about all the things you have to do and when exactly you'll do it all. That right there gets you thinking, this is going to be too much work. That doing a launch for your offer is just too many tasks with zero time to do them all. And I've heard all of this before from clients. They say, Danielle, I just literally have no time. I have these meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I have this client work that takes this intense focus time to get done, and it just takes hours. And then I have this event that I have to go to on Fridays. And they say that with everything on their plate already, they feel like it will be stressful to plan out one of those stress-free launches that everyone's talking about. They're just like, that must be BS. And I get it. We aren't in that bored in the house and I'm in the house bored era. We're trying to live the life that having your own business was supposed to allow you to have. So one of the first exercises I have all of my clients do, especially the ones that say I have zero time, is I tell them to pull out their calendar and actually mark everything that they need to do and put it on their calendar. This means all the meetings with clients, all the events that you're speaking at or going to, all the focus time that you need to have to think about your clients and get that client work done. This is the workouts that you have to do, the pickups that you have to do for kids, everything. I want it on a calendar. After doing this exercise, even the most booked and busy of my clients has over the course of a week at least 3 hours that they can dedicate to planning and executing a launch every time. And this is usually the point where my clients look at me and roll their eyes because they're just like, yes, I do in fact have time on my calendar. So I'm going to tell you to do the exact same thing. Pause this if you need to, and I need you to go and block off your time. See where in the course of a week you have 2 to 3 hours to work on your launch. This does not mean 2 to 3 hours back to back. I just mean like an hour here, an hour there, an hour someplace else, or maybe it is 3 hours straight. Find it. Mark it on your calendar. And I say to do this because, like I said, my clients, they always roll their eyes when they find this time because it's never actually about the time. It's about the structure of your to-do list. And that's because your to-do list for your launch looks something like plan feed posts for week 1, write launch emails. And sure, that is a list and a general direction, but because it isn't actually specific enough, your gut thought of, I don't have time, kicks in. Because you're right, your one task on your list is actually multiple things. I made the same mistake the other week. Now for me, Wednesdays tend to be a bit more open days for me. So I decided to make a whole day of going to my co-working space, getting the good spot by the window, and just knocking out all of my tasks. And actually, I have my list right here. It was so simple. It was like plan emails, plan posts. And part of me was just like, yes, I'm going to have this day. I'm going to go knock these things out. It's going to be so good. But then I got to the co-working spot and I was like, but wait, what am I actually doing? Do I have the ideas already? Am I repurposing? But I got started, I got going based on these vague, non specific tasks. But when I left that co working spot at the end of the day, I felt like I did not accomplish a single thing. It felt like I wasted an entire day and wasn't productive. And that was because I didn't break down my to do list enough. I didn't decide how many emails I wanted to come up with. I didn't decide how many emails I wanted to have written by the end of the day. I didn't decide if I wanted to take 4 of my favorite email ideas and turn those into IG posts or even a real script if it's really good. Honestly, I didn't know what success at the end of the day would look or feel like. I didn't know what hitting 80% of my goal would look like. So I had no gauge of how proud of myself I should be. And honestly, that is what holds you back and makes you feel like you are wasting your time and that you have no time. You don't know what success looks like or how close to success you even got. The tasks I had on my list weren't focused. So I wasn't focused. And at the end of the day, I felt like I wasted my time and still had so much left to do. And because of that, the thought that ran through my head was that I had a whole day blocked out to work and I got nothing done. I only have about a half hour tomorrow. What would I even get done then? And the weight of that alone had me wanting to avoid doing any work on Thursday because what was the point? So it's funny because as I was walking back to my car going home from the co-working space that day, I was just like, ooh, I've just experienced the same thing that so many of my clients who plan launches or just do marketing in general fall into. That feeling that even if I set time aside, it isn't enough to accomplish what I need. And I'm sure that you do the same thing. You have client work, family commitments, and so many other things. And you find yourself trying to be productive, to create a list to get stuff done, but it feels like nothing is getting done and that weighs on you. So how can you ever have a launch that's going to be successful if you can't get things planned well? How can you hit that income goal if you feel like you're revisiting the same to-do list every time? If that's you, with what seems like an always growing to-do list to get your launch off the ground and what feels like no time to do everything, you're not alone. I've helped so many clients go from thinking that they have no time to plan a launch, from thinking that there are too many things to think about and do to have a launch, to seeing how launching can actually be an easily planned way of getting more eyes and attention on their business. And it starts with knowing specifically what you're going to do with the time that you have. This is something that I've helped clients with time and again because I'm able to easily recognize when they are not being specific and clear enough about the things that they need to do to be successful. Now, knowing what to do to plan your launch is one thing. Having faith your plan will get you to your goal is something completely different. Here's the thing. You're planning a launch and coming up with email ideas, with reels, with launch ideas. But there's usually this nagging thought that's playing in the back of your head saying, what if I do all this and I don't hit my goal? What if I send emails regularly, post to my Instagram feed, reach out to people, and all that effort and time wasted? One of my clients was getting ready for a launch. This was her first time launching a brand new service. She wanted to know exactly what to do and when to sign, I think it was 10 people into her offer. But for my client, she didn't want to waste her time going after a goal she didn't think she could hit. Because for her, it wasn't about not hitting the goal because she had missed goals before. She told me in the past that she had goals of signing 3 clients in a month and didn't hit it because she went hard for 2 weeks and then fell off. She had goals of putting out 4 YouTube videos in a month, but only ended up coming up with 2. So she had not hit goals before. But for her, she didn't want to take the time to plan, put the energy into filming, put the energy into showing up for her business regularly and consistently, all for it to not work. Her thought was, I cannot hit goals without all this energy and effort. And I've had other clients come to me saying something very similar. Things like, how do I look putting in all this effort for it to not work? And I've seen this show up like, oof, I'd rather not do anything than do a plan I'm not sure will work. I've seen this look like clients staying in that planning phase, trying to find the exact right plan that will work to not waste time. When they're low-key wasting all this time staying in the planning phase, but like that's a whole separate thing. I've even seen this look like questioning if the goal itself is right, which is why when it comes to launching, one of the biggest things that causes overwhelm is doubting that you'll be able to hit the goal. Thinking you won't hit the goal keeps you in the weeds, planning and never actually doing the plan. Thinking you won't hit the goal keeps you only doing that one part of the plan you think might work, but not doing everything fully, because what's the point if you think only one part of the plan will work? And so when I work with my clients, when I'm helping them develop their goals, I'm taking them through a goals assessment. Now, it's based on the traditional goal setting models, which is based on what you've been able to do in your business before, based off of the data that's unique to your business. But creating launch goals that you'll actually hit is based off of both data and what you think you're actually going to be able to do. Because my client, the one who wanted to sign 10 people into her program, like she had the data that it was possible. She had done it before. And yet, even with that data, she doubted if she could do it. Because here's the thing, if hitting goals were just purely based off of data, we'd be doing all kinds of things, but it isn't. When I work with my clients who are launching, I take them through my goals assessment. And what happens is that we collect their data, what they've been able to do in their business. Then it walks them through how believable they think hitting that goal will be. The assessment looks at what they see as their gaps between where they're at now and what is required to hit the goal. And it creates a plan to make sure that their final goal that we come up with is attainable based off of both the data that they have and what they believe that they can do. And this is so important because maybe, yes, the data says that you've hit that goal before, but maybe it felt so hard and you're feeling resistant to putting that same level of energy to hit that goal. So if there's that disconnect, like no wonder you're just like, yeah, I don't know if I can hit that goal, because you're just like, oh, that took a lot of effort, a lot of energy. I don't believe that I can do that. A goals assessment needs to go through and have that into effect. Because a lot of times what a lot of other launch programs do, they just say like, okay, you were able to do this last time, we can do this again, increase this by 2%. But it doesn't take into account the human element of it. And that's what I always want to make sure that I'm doing for my clients. I'm taking into consideration that human element, because we are humans running these businesses. And if we don't take that into account, we're not going to have fun running our businesses at all. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. And it's going to feel like something is wrong with you when it's not. There is nothing wrong. You are just not taking a look at the full picture of what it takes to hit your goals. Launching and hitting your income goal is going to feel possible when you set a goal that is based on the evidence your business has and when you believe your plan will work to get you there. Most people aren't focused on that, but I spend so much time making sure my clients are on board with that, again, which is why, again, I love my goals assessment. And it helps them to come up with better ideas, come up with better plans, and then actually put them into action when they are on board with the goal. So I talked about how getting ready for a launch feels overwhelming when you doubt that you'll have the time to make it work. How launching feels overwhelming when you doubt that you'll hit your goals. The third thing that makes launching feel overwhelming and difficult to do is doubting that the offer you're launching is even good enough. You won't launch an offer you don't think is good enough. No matter how many great content ideas you come up with for the launch, no matter if the goal you set is backed by your past numbers, if you don't think the program is good enough, you're not going to launch it, or you won't launch it putting your whole foot in it. I was working with a client and she was telling me about this offer she wanted to launch. She had been running it for a few months and wanted to have this dedicated push to really promote it and get more people into it. And in the 4 months since she had been offering this program, she had been refining her concepts, explaining her teachings. So at the start of us working together, she had all the ingredients of a good launch: current clients in the program, a process that's been refined, and evidence of what those people got while they were working with her in that offer. The only problem was that my client didn't feel like the offer was actually good enough to launch. Now, she came to me because she wanted to launch. It felt like the best next step. But every time it came down to setting the goal never felt right. When it came down to coming up with the launch content plan, That never felt right. And it was because she didn't feel like if she got people into her program, they would actually get results. Like she didn't feel good about getting people to join an offer she didn't think was good. And I hear this all the time from clients. They set these goals that they think that they should have. They come up with the ideas to market the offer, but they can't actually get themselves to follow through on these plans because they doubt they can actually deliver and get good results for their people. And if I'm being honest, like this is the biggest doubt that stops people from having the launch that they want to have. This is the thing that overwhelms people the most. Now, this is usually the point where people are going to tell you, just launch anyway. Your offer is fine the way it is. I'm not going to tell you that because I know the people that I work with. You've got high standards. You've been in nonsense programs that offered almost nothing. And I know that you don't want to be in the same category as those people. So I'm going to tell you what I told my client. What is it that your offer needs before it can be launched, before it meets your standards? And for my client, it really came down to these three things. She wanted a good enough process, a good enough curriculum, and good enough results. Now, for a good enough process, my client felt that even if she got all the people that she wanted into her program, her systems couldn't handle it, that she couldn't handle it. For her curriculum, she had been working with people for months now and knew how to best explain her ideas, but it wasn't documented or recorded or anything like that. She wanted to be able to direct her clients to resources that already clearly explained her concepts. And the third thing, she wanted to get her clients bigger wins. What she was doing right now was already getting people results. But she could already tell that if she wanted this to be the offer that was her big signature offer, she needed to get her people bigger results faster. And all three of those things were a big block for her from actually launching. Now, before we move on from this, I want to point something out. Most people will stay feeling stuck like, oh, my program isn't good enough. And they will go into this cycle of, my program isn't good enough. I'm not good enough. I know I can help people, but I can't help them in a program. And it will just go around and around. When my clients start saying this, I don't just hype them up with, you got this girl, launch anyway. What I did is I helped her get really clear and specific about what were the things that she felt like weren't up to her standards, because this is what was keeping her from launching how she wanted. So the first thing I had my client to do was break down exactly what needed to happen from a systems and an onboarding perspective to take on the clients that she actually wanted to have. And she went and got that support. That week, went and got into a systems program to get her all the onboarding and all the systems things that she needed. Then we went through what were the core parts of the curriculum that people needed day one. I didn't want her focusing on all of these long, intricate videos that will take her months and months to record. I needed her to focus on what do her people need day one. What are the things that you need to focus on right now to get people results that first week that they get into your program? And lastly, when it came to the results, we did this deep dive into who are the clients who got the best results, who were the people that struggled, and we made profiles based off of each of these types of people. And which is so cool that we ended up using these profiles to make targeted marketing to attract more of the clients that she wanted. And we broke down what's one tool or one resource that they needed to get the faster results that she wanted to have them to get. And then through this, I also helped her realize that launching her program was actually going to help her create the better program that she wanted. The more people that she had in her offer, the more she could refine how she got her people better and faster results. And I say all this to say because a lot of people will have you trying to just pump yourself up, saying like, I can launch with what I have. Let me get my mindset on board with launching with what I have where I'm at, which to be fair, my client 100% could have, but she knew that she was capable of offering a better experience. And it wasn't in integrity with her and her values to offer something that she knew could be a better experience. And what I did was help my client not go and spend the next 5 months in this endless loop of, I'm working on my offer. When we focused on the systems that she needed, when we focused on the curriculum that she needed, when we focused on getting better results in her program, that made coming up with content to promote her offer for the launch so much easier. We came up with better content because we were so clear about who would get the best results. We came up with better answers to objections because we spent so much time thinking about where people had struggled and had solutions for it now. She went from feeling like her offer wasn't good enough to having this effective solution that upgraded her offer and helped her to start quickly and easily planning her launch. Doubting your offer, honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons that coaches feel overwhelmed launching. And this process that I've developed for my clients helps them get unstuck out of that freeze state where nothing gets done. Now, after listening to all of this, if you saw any of your habits in any parts of this episode, I want you to go back and listen to it again. If you find yourself always saying, "Oh, I don't have time," I want you to go back and listen to that time exercise. If you find yourself thinking about, "Oh, I don't know if this goal is possible," go back and listen to that goal section again. If you have doubts about your offer, go back and listen to that good enough offer again. Because identifying what comes up for you in each of those parts is going to be the first step of you having a smoother launch. And I want people to have smoother launches. That's why I created the Launch Hotline. It's my one-on-one 6-week program designed to help you plan a launch you'll actually stick with without the overwhelm, even when you feel like you don't have time, even when you feel like you can't hit your goals, even when you feel like your offer needs another module or more back-end systems. With the Launch Hotline, you have someone on speed dial for those moments when you're ready to throw in the towel because your launch just feels like it is too much. The Launch Hotline kicks off with a 2-hour launch planning intensive, where in week 1, we're going to get so clear on who exactly you're going to bring into your offer. We're going to go through that goals assessment so that you can get on board with your goals. And we're going to get the foundation of your launch strategy all the way together. Then you're going to get weekly supportive strategy calls where we're going to make any changes that we need to your plan based off of what's working, what's not working within the plan that we came up with. And then we're also going to work on those mindset and strategy blocks because let's be honest, things are going to happen. It's a launch, but I've got your back. And then lastly, one of my favorite things about the Launch Hotline is the actual hotline itself. You're going to get unlimited support via Messenger during your critical launch week. So when it's day 3 and you're doubting if you're going to sign another person in your program, when you're thinking like, "Oh, I want to give up," we're going to come up with a plan to keep you in your launch and hitting your goals. So if you've been thinking of launching but were overwhelmed by everything that goes into it, the Launch Hotline is exactly what you need to finally complete a launch from start to finish, even when things start feeling overwhelming. Because let's be honest, most of the launch programs that are out there, they're only focused on the content plan. They're pushing you to go through and create more and more when your doubts about your capacity, your doubts about how realistic your goals are, and your doubts about the program itself are just screaming at you. The Launch Hotline makes sure that you're addressing the real core things that are slowing down your launch and keeping you from hitting your next income goal. Go to the show notes where you can learn more about the program and book a sales call. Launching, it can be simple and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And with the Launch Hotline, I'm going to show you how. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.